morning. Today is August 15th. We are at the Finksburg Library, and I'm here with Joe Boerner. So, Joe, tell me, how long has your family been farming, and where is your farm located?
We're located above Manchester on Garrett Road. I've lived on the same road my whole life. I'm 40, so I'm in my fifth house on the same road. So that's where we farm at.
And how? What is your family?
We raise pumpkins. We raise sweet corn. I have some cattle that I raise for myself. The kids have 4-H projects there. We do vegetables, hay, straw, but majority of our stuff is the hay and the pumpkins. So,
Now, you grew up on a farm.
yes.
And tell me a little bit about life growing up on the farm, and where was that located, and what was your...
I don't know, it was pretty good. You had free roaming. You got to run wherever, do whatever. Not many neighbors as far as that goes where I'm located at. I mean, a lot of work, a lot of time you couldn't spend it doing sports and stuff like that. But it was good. I mean, I have no regrets as far as that goes.
And then what did your family raise?
At that time, we were doing the same thing, pumpkins and sweet corn, a lot of all hand crops it seemed like, so it was not much tractor work, but it was a lot of hand work, so.
Okay. So what was a typical day like for you as a kid growing up in the summer?
We'd go pick corn in the mornings, sweet corn, pick the vegetables. We had roadside stands set up, and a lot of days I would spend the days at the roadside stands with my mother, and we had cows and stuff at that time too, so you had feeding to do, but it was all good.
Dairy cows or beef?
Beef cows. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
And what about your grandfather? What was...
He had a farm outside of Hampstead off of 482. It's called Boerner Road across from Gorsuch. He had a dairy farm back there. Really, it was kind of not before my times, but I don't remember a whole lot of them. I know where the farm is. I've done work at the farm now. But they did dairy there, and my father worked there and did that. And then my grandfather ended up selling the farm, and Dad moved away from that area and up to where we're at now. So I was pretty well raised born and raised on Garrett Road. So.
And was there a reason your dad didn't go into dairy farming?
At that time, my dad was like 17. His mother got Parkinson's disease real bad and was in the nursing home, and they ended up really having to sell the farm to keep her in the home. So that was kind of how that went. So not much choice.
Now, what do you do with the pumpkins?
We used so a lot of them used to go to Fairfax, Virginia, Tyson's Corner, all down through there. We'd load them on tractor trailers and take them down. And but that 10 years ago was a lot better than what it is now as far as that goes. A lot of our deliveries now are closer, or Ferndale. We have some people that buy down in Ferndale, and we don't raise near what we used to. We used to have 25 acres of pumpkins, and now we're down to about 8. But you know, it's still a lot of work. But I do other work during the day. I do building and remodeling during the day, and then do the farm on the weekends and nighttime. So it kind of takes up my whole day.
Now, you have 2 boys.
Yes.
Are they interested in farm?
Yes, they are to a certain extent. They enjoy living there, and they have 4-wheelers that they ride around on. They have 100 acres just to roam and go out and do stuff, and they help. They're 12, so they're getting to the point where they can do stuff. But even a bale of hay is 50 pounds. It's hard for them to grab a hold of it and do anything with. But they help feed. They help do things. So hopefully they at least know what it's like.
No, they're involved in 4-H, right?
Yes, they are in the 4-H. Yep. They raise pigs now in the 4-H. This is their third year. Uh, they did really well this year. They had champion reserve, champion Duroc pigs, so they did good. So they it keeps them busy.
So how has farming changed over the years from like when your dad was farming to?
I think it's become a lot more corporate or bigger. I mean, a lot of guys now, or if you're not farming 1,000 acres, you're really not farming for a living if you're not doing that much acreage, or or 500 and some acres. But it doesn't seem like a small 50-acre farm can make it today with the prices of everything. So it's a lot different. I think you have to treat it as a business. It's not a background or your family tradition or anything like that. I mean, it's a business nowadays, and you have to run it like one.
So you're not just focusing on, the fields, what's out there, but you have to do accounting and you have to do
Yes.
mechanics. And tell
Yep.
a little bit about what all things you.
Maintenance on everything is a lot. Just the equipment alone, the price of what equipment is anymore. But you have fertilizers, you have sprays. Every year it seems like a spray you used last year is now a different name, so you have to try to figure out what's what. You have a lot more record keeping now than what we used to have to do. Pesticide license, and you have to keep track of everything you spray and do. Seed costs a lot more, so everything is just a lot more money and a lot more time to do it.
So given that, why do you think the farm has sustained this long and people stay in this and go generation?
I think it's just way of life, really. I mean, I would love to be able to stay at home on the farm all day long, but for me, the size of our farm and what we do, it's not profitable enough to raise a family and on my size farm. But I think a lot of it's just the way of life, really. So.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I have two sisters,
Okay.
Amy and Angie, and they both work outside of the farm as far as that goes. We all have farm jobs as far as that. But
Now, growing up, did they help on the farm?
yeah, they helped I mean, by the time they were 18, 19, they were kind of off and doing what they do. And Amy, she's not really the farm. I don't know, not the farm type, but she likes the farm. She comes up every weekend and helps mow grass and do stuff like that. But it's not really her thing. But she enjoys having it and being there. So, and Angie, same way. She has a small farm that's right behind ours, and but just maintaining it and trying to keep it clean or looking nice. So it takes a lot of time just to do that. So.
Do you think your boys will continue on?
I hope so, to a certain extent. I mean, I hope it would be a sideline at least for them, or something that they do have to. I mean, we're going to keep it as long as we can, always for them, and hopefully they do take advantage of what's there for them. So, hope so.
What do you think? Maybe is something that people learn or experience growing up on a farm that other people may not?
I mean, it's one thing when someone lives on a quarter acre of ground and, we have 100 of acres to maintain or keep up with, and not the time to run around and do stuff. I mean, a lot of times the money goes to equipment and stuff like that you could use to go to the movies or something like that. So it's, you're at home a lot more. I mean, it's your life pretty well revolves around it. So.
Think family's more important to farmers?
I believe so. I think you're more tight knit than kids aren't on the cell phones and all that all the time sitting around. I mean, there's always something to do, and I think that's the big problem. You feel guilty if you are sitting around because in the back of your mind there's stuff to do all the time. So
So now you knew your grandfather, right?
Yeah, I mean, he probably passed away when I was probably 6, 7
Oh,
years old,
okay.
so I was pretty young when that happened.
I was going to ask if your dad had any stories of that he shared with you of his growing up on.
I mean, I know I hear them talking about when they used to plant tomatoes and stuff like that. I mean, they would have acres of them and you plant by hand, dealing with the horse or mules that they used at that time, still before tractors, and then having their first tractors and stuff like that. You know, he's talked about that over the years. But my aunt lives in one of the old farms that we had, and then a friend of Dad's, Charlie Ingram, he owns the farm where my grandfather was. And I've been there and done work there and, you know, been around it. So, you know, I can always go there whenever I want to or take the kids down to see it. So, but no.
So has that area changed a lot since you were a kid? I mean,
Oh, everything's, I mean, even the road I lived on was maybe 6, 7 houses when I was, you know, 6 years old. Now it's probably 50 houses on our road. You know, someone owned a lot of farm ground back there, and we ended up buying one part of the farm, and we've built a new house back there. But yeah, it's definitely changed.
so what do you think the future is for the family farmer here in Carroll County?
I think I mean, the bigger farms, yes, they'll succeed and they'll do well. The more the people move in, not saying pushes us out, but makes it harder to get around. They're not as understanding with equipment and cattle and everything that we have to deal with. Equipment's getting bigger. It takes up more of the road. People aren't as tolerable as what they used to be. So I think that's going to cause some changes.
And you said you have beef cattle,
Mm-hmm.
and you said for my own. What do you mean?
I have, I mean, I'll sell them off here and there. We raise them for our own beef, for our own consumption. I like to see them. I mean, I like to see them in the pastures and every night to go up and feed them, and they come running, and, you know, I enjoy that. It's kind of my thing.
And how many head do you have?
Right now, I only have 6. We sold some off, and I'm down to 6 right now. So,
What do you think you talked about the 4-H and the kids. What do you think they learn through 4-H that's similar to maybe your growing up experience?
I mean, they have to take care of them. I mean, I'm kind of the one that before I eat, I make sure everything else is fed. I mean, the cattle, the pigs, everything else. I mean, even if it's raising their kids, maybe they'll know from doing this that, you know, how to take care of something or how to, you know, plus they have to manage their money with the 4-H. They have to keep track of, you know, their feed bills, their bedding bills, vet bills. Plus they learn if an animal's sick or anything like that, what to look for. So I think a lot of that, everything plays into the 4-H as far as a learning experience, as a life experience. So
You have pumpkins and what was?
pumpkin, sweet corn, hay. We have a lot of hay ground. We got some soybeans planted this year. We have a little bit of field corn planted. We pretty well just a little bit of everything. Not a whole lot, but enough to keep us busy.
So how has harvesting these things changed from when you were a kid?
Pumpkins we didn't really start selling when I was a kid till October. Everything now we're starting, you know, first week in September we'll start picking pumpkins. Everything's kind of moved up time-wise with that, which is fine as long as I'm sold out by, you know, Halloween, because pumpkins aren't much good after that. So.
And why do you think it's gotten so much earlier?
Well, department stores are the same way, you know. They have stuff out months before Halloween or Christmas or anything else. So.
So has the process of, like, you know, you talk about hay and that kind of thing. I mean, how did that change from when you were a kid? What was it like
Uh, I mean, the equipment has changed over the years. We can get through it a little faster. We can make it dry a little quicker than what we used to. Don't have as many trips over the field. Um, I mean, and the price of hay has gotten more, but the cost of doing it has also gotten more. So between the twine or diesel fuel or anything else, so it's all kind of relative, I guess. So.
What else can you tell me about life on the farm that you'd like to share? Maybe someone who's not familiar with.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of a way of life, and it's a way of life for a lot of people that live in this area. And I just kind of think you need to respect what they're doing, and I would rather see a lot more farms in my backyard than houses, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's the way I grew up, and I'd like it to stay that way for my kids. So.